Map of the face. This is just in general, okay? And everybody has different facial structure, but similar. All right? So here's our egg. We're going to cut it in half, and you can kind of eyeball this. You can fold your paper. So that's where the eyes. Looks like that top half might be a little bigger. No, pretty much the same. So the eyes are going to go along on this line. This bottom half. The nose can come down to about right there. And then this bottom fourth, 1/3, will be, so you think about 3 parts. This would be the opening of the mouth. Something else that we said, by a general rule, the ears will be in between the bottom of the nose and the top of the eyes. So we're going to just, that's going to be our placement of the ears. We also said that the eyes, the head is 5 eyes wide. So what I like to do is, most of the time when I'm drawing, I'll kind of use my finger as like a guide, a measuring tool. So I know that's pretty much in the center just by eyeballing it. Now I can, not always will this work, but I can kind of go back, measure. It looks like that's a little wide maybe. Let's see. All right, so that's not bad. Maybe what I'll do is take this one in a little bit. So here is our map, okay? After you have the map, you're ready to start adding the features. So we're going to practice that a little bit before we begin on the map. Some rules I'd like for you to keep in mind are some guidelines. When you're drawing the eye, yes, it is football shape. I've heard people say it looks like a turtle. I've heard people say all kinds of stuff. But the top eyelid is curved, more curved than the bottom eyelid. If you look at any example, or most examples, look at this one, for example. She's got her eyes real wide here. Even that top eyelid is more curved than the bottom. Now, something else about the top eyelid is that it's in shadow, so it's darker, okay? So when we're doing this, when you're drawing this, whether it's on the left or the right, always make the top eyelid more curved and darker than the bottom. Matter of fact, so let's make this little tear duct a little bit like this. Okay? So see how this one has less curve than that? That's a higher curve. We're not worried about eyelashes or eyebrows or anything at this point. We're just drawing. You know that if you're looking at this eye, let me show you maybe another example of this. The eye is really a ball, right? That's why it's called an eyeball. So here's a ball or a circle. We're only seeing part of this eye. We're seeing, now that may not be drawn right, but you get the idea here. You're only seeing this part. And you only see, you don't see just the pupil. I mean, if you saw an eye like that and it had it like this, it would look like the person that's scared to death or they're stoned out of their mind, right? So you see a lot of the colored part of the eye, and we'll look at this side because it's not in shadow. Look at how much, so that actually takes up. It's not a complete circle in there like that one and that one too. So maybe if they're looking up or looking down or they're extremely scared, you'll see some of the bottom part of the circle because this part, the colored part of the eye, now I'm going to enlarge that and let's just make that. So the pupil, right? The pupil is, this one has some glare in it, so does that one. If you think about this, this is a hollow ball. That pupil is an opening. Of course, it's covered with a lens on your eye. An opening inside, sort of like I'm holding my hand here. Opening where we see down inside or we see back in the eye. And it opens and closes to let light in or let light out. So when it's really small, it's dark, of course, but when it's open even, it's dark because it's a hollow cavity or ball there. So when you're shading the eye, always make this pupil. I'm purposely not shadowing that area because I want that to be highlight. Make this pupil dark. And if you've got a coloring pencil, use a coloring pencil, black, to do that, because you find one here. Maybe, yeah. So a coloring pencil, after you're completely finished, and let's hope and pray this will write some. I'm going to go right over that with that black coloring pencil. See how much darker that is than the gray from the graphite. So now this eye, the top eyelid, is in shadow. Maybe if we're actually trying to draw this one, we got to keep in mind that this is a ball, and so, oh, what are you doing? You're coloring the whole eye. No, I'm not. I'm putting shadow there. Now, this colored part of the eye, look at your own eye. Look at someone else's eye. Take a photo. When you're doing that, for my 2 cents, I like doing like a bullseye effect. Here's the center, or the pupil. Here's the colored part. I think that's called the iris. I might be wrong. But here's the pupil. And so if you kind of go around this eye, point toward the middle, and everybody's eye is different. With some little, no matter if your eye is colored or not colored, see how I'm going toward the middle? But this part definitely, sometimes you can see, why are those little lines in it like I've drawn there? Because, like I said, that's a muscle. That little colored part opens and closes to allow light in here or keep light out. So these little lines are there. Sometimes you can see them. Sometimes they're actually like that. And the older you get, the less, or the more wrinkles sometimes you see in that. That's why. All right, so this would be, how do you get this eye over here now to look like that? So remember the eye on back to our map. So if I'm drawing that eye there, I want to, maybe I'm going to bring it down just a hair. I like the idea of, see, that's where our eye goes. I'm not worried about super detail on this. I'm just trying to get a good map. Matter of fact, I'm not going to do much darker on that at all. Here's our pupil. Okay, or our iris. Pupil. Okay. I have a lot of trouble getting the same eye over here. So what I'll tell you to do is what I do sometimes. If I can't get it right the first time, I may take another piece of paper and I'll trace that one, and I'll put it underneath here, flip it over and put it underneath there. I already see that I've got this one maybe a little far down, so maybe here and here. See, I'm having major trouble out of this one. All right, got it looking bad, but let's go in there. Yep, that one's just messed up. You know, we're just practicing and trying to figure out how to draw the eye. Yep, totally messed up, but it's on camera and I'll probably show you. I'm going to erase this one for right now. Excuse me, guys. So now I don't know if I can trace that without going to a light box, but you can see that underneath it, right? There. It's going to make it darker now. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to do it backwards here. And the reason is because I need to be able to see through it. Erase this better. See it there? It's kind of hard to see that through what I've already drawn. Okay. Now, I'll come back and work on that in a little bit. Okay, so we have our placement for our eyes. Let's work on the nose. So 2 things I want you to remember about the eye. Top eyelid is more curved, and the top eyelid is in shadow, and here's why. Remember this ball that we talked about? This top eyelid, light, for the most part, is shining down from above, no matter where we're standing, unless we're laying down. And we're not laying down or seated. We usually don't draw people like that. So this top eyelid protrudes out. If we looked at a side view, okay, here's our ball. Here's the little part that we're seeing, okay? That's the eye that we see. So here's the iris, light shining down, so that top eyelid comes down. Here's your eyelashes, kind of very simple diagram. So this blocks light because it has a little bit of meat or thickness there. This bottom eyelid, actually, if you look here, see that? It's there, but it's really light, and we don't see it because the light is hitting that. Top eyelid more curved, and it's darker. Pupil, dark. Now, guys, you can mess up a drawing by making this pupil absolutely too big and too dark. But practice and look at some examples online. So I'll stop this video here. We're going to look at drawing noses next. Thank you for watching.